meat and potatoes here. We have Christine Fryers here, and Amanda's here, and we have Linda de Gonzalez. Speaking of Akashic Records,
Hello. Yeah.
yes, and we have Karen Doyle. Hi, Karen, and Laura's here. Laura Hammond Davis, and
Hello, Laura.
Moira's here. Moira, and Jenny. Hi, Jenny. It's good to see you, sweetie. Barbara Nesper. And Randy. Hi, Randy. I've missed you. How are you doing? We have Mr. Clarence Fields here. It's nice to see you, sir. Thanks for coming by. Yeah. And we have Jill Sinanan. And we have, who else is here? Let's see. Bora Bora Janet. Good to see you, Janet. And Janet's the one that told me about Marina a number of months ago. So I'm glad to know that. And Sherry with an ERI is here. And our friend Wayne Rich is here. And let's see, Lisa Yeager. And my Miss BJ's Esoteric Musings. That's a neat name. Welcome, dear. And Carolyn and Peter Booker are here. And probably Harry Nielsen is with them. And we have Louise Fote, who's here. And we have, who else? Sonia Maggie. Well, and I think I got everybody. But if I missed anybody, it wasn't intentional. And we're always happy to have you here with us. We got 44 people in the house. Angel number.
Nice.
Perfect. So, yeah, so considering what I wanted to do today, I think it was fairly, it isn't advice. It's funny. I say we're going to talk about the advice we'd give to our 40-year-old selves, but I'm hoping that it's not any regrets. Like, I wish I could go back and do something over, because we wouldn't be who or where we are without it. So I'm thinking it's really just, it's maybe more spiritual, or maybe there were some things that we could have worried less about. I don't know. But whatever anybody's interpretation is, it's perfectly fine. And I also have some to share with you that were sent and put on some of the community pages. And if you want to share for us what you believe you would say to your 40-year-old self, and some of you may not even be 40. So, if you're 30 and you want to, what would you say to your 20-year-old self? Then, think about it that way, and ask yourself, what is it that you wished that you would have known then that you now know now? So I'm going to start us off with Sherry today first, and then we'll go from there. So Sherry, how about it, girl? What would you say?
The first thing I would try to knock into my stubborn head would be buy a house. It's a lot cheaper than it will be in 20 years.
Sure, of course.
I had a settlement that I got from my accident when I was 40.
Oh.
And it wasn't a whole lot, but it was a nice little chunk of change. And after I paid off funeral expenses for my husband and some medical bills for me, I had a little bit left. And I was going to buy a brand new mobile home and have it set up. And it would have taken the rest of the money, but I would have had my own place.
Yeah.
And I let several family members talk me out of it with, well, it's not, you're just going to waste your money if you're not putting it in a brick foundation home and da-da-da-da-da. And I wish I would have followed through and done it, because, but then again, if I had, I wouldn't have gone to Phoenix, and things that happened there wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is what led me to where I am now. So,
sure.
But I think mainly just to be smarter with my money and prepare better for retirement. I mean,
well, when you're 40, you don't think you're ever going to be 60. I don't know. That's been in my mind.
I honestly didn't think I'd last this long.
Oh, well, I didn't mean it that way, but okay.
I did.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. There's always those kind of things, especially when we come into money, and it's almost like, what do I do? Oh my God, what do I? You're overwhelmed with the choices that you could make,
and all the people who want to give you good advice or tell you how to handle it.
Yeah.
and you get so overwhelmed with just
Yeah.
all the suggestions that you kind of
Yep.
become frozen with it.
Sure.
And yeah, I mean, there were some really dumb things I did that I could have,
You're not alone. Yeah.
not
Yeah.
done. But, there was
Mhm.
also when my husband died. And so it was dealing with all of that. And
Yeah.
You were
once
only
I
in your
was out,
40s when your husband died?
yeah,
Oh,
Wow.
Sherry, that's so tragic. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
he
No
died.
wonder you were
He
listening to
died
other people. Yeah.
February, March, April, May. He died 3 months before his 47th birthday.
Oh, wow. Wow. So
So,
young.
That's really difficult. That's really
and
so. Of course, you
I've
were
already lived
rudderless.
longer than my
Yeah.
grandmother did. My grandmother died at 57.
Okay.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
now my great grandmother, her mother lived to 98.
Mm.
My
No, you
mom lived
can't
to
always tell.
74, I think. I
That's
got a
true,
couple
Sherry.
of great aunts that are up in their 90s that are still
Uh-huh.
kicking. So
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody is different. So,
yeah, it
but I
just
didn't
depends.
realize it was that long ago, Sherry, that
Yeah,
you lost
just
your husband. Yeah. I'm
he
sorry.
died in 2001, so just made 22
Okay.
years since he
Wow.
passed.
That's very
I've
sad.
actually been a widow a year longer than I was married.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot.
The sister-in-laws that don't understand why I haven't remarried. I'm like, because I have no interest in getting remarried. Thank you.
Good for you. You do.
Your,
Thank God.
your
Now,
husband.
see what
I
did you learn
tried the
from that?
dating thing for like a
You
year
learned. You
and then
learned
was
though.
like, okay, no, I'm not interested in being someone's mother or someone's
Yeah,
shrink.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
But
I don't
you
need
listen to everybody else with the choice you wanted to make, and then you learned your lesson that it's Sherry that you have to listen to and not other
that
people.
was the biggest lesson I had to learn
Sure.
was
Yeah.
I went from being someone's daughter to someone's wife to someone's mother.
Right.
And suddenly at the age of 40, my son was a year away from being 18
Hmm.
and kind of being on his
Yeah.
own. My husband was gone. I mean, my mother was still here at the time, but I was at the point where it was like, well, what do I want?
Yeah.
What do I
Good for
want to
you.
do? I mean, my future was wrapped up in what my husband and I were going to do when we retired.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, well, I ain't doing that now because I didn't want to do it to begin with. I
Sure.
was just doing it because that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to chase tornadoes, believe it or not.
Oh
He was
wow.
like, I'm driving, you operate the camera. And I'm like, you're crazy.
Uh,
He wanted to be a storm chaser. So, yeah, it took a
yeah.
good 10 years to kind of figure out
Sure.
what does Sherry want and what direction do I want to go in.
I think that's the one piece of advice that I would give to myself. Don't live authentically. Live
Yeah.
Yes.
what
I've
you
got that
want.
written down.
Yeah. Live what you want to do. Don't let other people dictate what it is that they want you to do. Be your true self and don't worry about what everybody else thinks about you because it doesn't matter what they think. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you, Sherry, for that.
You're welcome.
Val, what you want to share with us? Or you want to channel yourself when you were uh, 40 instead? Oh, she's frozen. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
You just
I thought she was contemplating something.
Yes, I
I did
thought so
too.
too.
Yeah, I
I
did.
thought you were channeling.
Yeah,
Okay.
come back, Val.
Come
Come
back,
back.
Val. Come back.
Come back
All right.
now.
We'll go ahead and let Sharon do it then. Go ahead,
Oh,
Sharon.
sure. I'm going to. I'll talk about what Sherry said. I said,
Okay.
I married, and then after 26 years, I left my husband
Hmm.
to live my authentic self, and I wish I had done that earlier, so much earlier,
Uh-huh.
because it caused me a lot of depression. That's about me, acknowledging
Right.
that I was gay. So I should have done it a lot sooner. But hey, I did what I did, and here now. I'm not. I don't regret who I am now. But I was, married with this guy for 26 years, the father of my
Hmm.
children, and then I met my wife soon after, and I was 10 years with her, and then our marriage broke apart because of the death of a child. Hardly any marriages.
Yeah.
I think that the statistic is about 92% of marriages
Yeah.
don't make it. And then I've been alone for 10, 11 years. And so my lovely partner, she would like to move in. And I said, I'm not ready.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
she said, phew, I'm not ready either.
Yeah,
So
that's
I'm
good.
not, I told her I'd be just happy. Hi, Val. Welcome back. Um, I'd be happy living in our own separate things and get together whenever we want. I mean, that's where I'm at.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that's so I would ask my 40-year-old self, tell my 40-year-old self to don't think of others' feelings. Say what you feel and what's
Yeah,
best for you.
for you.
I would say and make more memories with your children if you have children, where you get caught up in this hamster wheel. And I mean, I do have lots of lovely memories with my children. One is taking them across Canada on a road trip. I'm really glad I did that.
Mhm.
But I wish I'd had done more, but we were always so busy, right? And they
Yeah.
grow up so fast, and you can't get that time back.
Right.
I wish I had saved more for retirement. These are something like regrets. These are just advice for my 40-year-old self,
Yeah.
like put
Yeah.
more money away.
Listen to yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy I've got my teacher's pension, but it's not a full teacher's pension because
Mm.
it's a long story. Um, yeah, what else did I have written down here? Yeah, more self care. We are the
Mhm.
Queen of Pentacles, taking care of everybody else. And we have to remember to take care of ourselves. I allowed myself to get really run down and tired and trying to do it all. Although my husband was really helpful, he was away most of the time at work. Like he'd be away during the week and come home on the weekends. And so, I
Mhm.
wish I'd taken better care of myself, like, baths and meditating and that sort of thing. Um, what else? And well, the first and this last on my list, but the most important is be your authentic self. I
Right.
wasn't for so many years. For 49 years, I was not
Mhm.
myself. And yeah, so that's the biggest. The biggest. Be your authentic self. Say what you mean and mean what you say. And tell people what you need,
Mm.
what you want, and what you
Mhm.
need.
That's
What's
awesome.
non-negotiable? What's a deal breaker? Rather than always be the one, going along to get along.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I would
That's
like
Well,
to add a little caveat to mine. Part of me wishes I would have opened the door to the other side of
yeah,
my gifts and
yeah.
ushered them in. But another part of me says very firmly in my head, but you weren't ready yet.
It's all in divine timing.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep. Yeah. That's another reason why I don't look back with regrets.
No,
I just look back and say, if I had only known, or if I listened to myself, or so yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome.
also,
So
when people tell you who they are the first time, believe
believe
them.
them. That's right. Because a lot of people go into a relationship wanting to change everything
Exactly.
that they don't care for, and that's never going to work. So yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. So Val, are you were there, and I said after Sherry that it was your turn, and you were very quiet with your head down. We thought you were meditating, and we thought that you were
We
going to
did.
start channeling.
Well, I
We thought you
was.
were just in deep contemplation. We were so shocked when we kind of looked at you and
I know. I said,
she's
"Oh, Val's frozen."
My
frozen.
spotty internet connection.
That's all
Hopefully,
right,
my
Val.
husband is going to
You
get
just
it
provided some
sorted.
fun. That's all. You just provided some fun. So I'm going to
So,
let you go next. Go ahead and go next. Yeah.
okay. So, as for me and my 40-year-old self, that was when I was reaching out and doing new things. And I would learn to play golf. I traveled the world. I did all kinds of things for myself. And I thank myself. I thank my 40-year-old self
Mhm.
for being expansive and opening up to all of that. Um, because I can't think of anything that I would change or that I mean, everything that I did when I was in my 40s was all finally the kids are gone
Mhm.
and I'm going to do things for
I
me.
started
It's
late.
all,
I started late.
it was great. It was
Yeah.
great. I loved it. I loved it.
That's
So
great.
the good thing
Yeah.
about having kids when you're young.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say to Sherry that when she was talking about her husband, he came right in. He was right here. And
Oh,
he called you his, and I know this is a bird, but he's talking about turtles. He called you his turtle dove. And he showed me a picture of a turtle bowl, the old kind that are clear, and they have the little
We
ramp
used
and
to
they
have
have
one.
the tree. And it's like he showed me a bunch of little turtles in there. It's almost
oh,
like it's either and water and food. And it's almost like he's acknowledging how you care for your family with
oh.
everybody in the bowl together with food and water.
We used to have one of those bowls.
He showed me this, and I'm
Like
getting the
stained
chills.
glass
He's
with
giving me the chills. The clear glass, you know, yes, and that's what he showed me with food and water in it. With but
Wow.
with little
I was
turtles.
always feeding somebody, I will admit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's some kind of acknowledgement to you, whatever
Yeah.
that means for you. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
done.
That's
now.
fabulous.
yeah.
That's fabulous.
I know where
All
that's
right.
coming from.
All right, Marina, your turn, girl.
My turn. I think in some ways, I'm very much like you, Allie, in that I concentrate on not having any regrets because I realize that it's my mistakes, or what I perceived were mistakes, were my greatest teachers, were my greatest lessons. So if it hadn't been for some of that, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Very
So
true.
even when I look back on some things that were unpleasant, I have to see the lesson behind it and say, yeah, that wasn't fun, but oh my God, did I learn a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, don't live with regret. It's much easier to kind of look back on your life and say, oh, should never have done that, than to be wondering what would have happened if.
Right.
So, just keep that in mind, go forward with that. Look at all the opportunities that come your way and find reasons to say yes to more things. And I think um, what I would tell my 40-year-old self is don't take yourself so seriously. Like, it
I know.
at the end of the day, it all doesn't matter.
Right.
Accumulating things, you can't take it with you.
Yeah.
Harboring resentment, well, that hurts you more than it does the other person.
Right.
Um, just lighten up a little. This is supposed to be fun. So have fun with it. Just
There you
do
go.
things that bring you joy, do things that make you happy. You don't have to worry about anybody else. And when people want to give you advice on what you should do, just thank them and say, well, you know what? The good news is that if should this circumstance happen to you, you know exactly what you're going to do. That is, I am thrilled for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do your own thing. It's okay to seek counsel. Just do your own thing.
That's right. I agree with you. So there's several things that I would have liked to have done. When I was 37, I was heavily involved in a spiritual community, and I learned everything there was to know about Native American spirituality,
Yeah.
crystals. I did crystal healing, all of that stuff. And then by the time I was 40, I had to be working all the time. Plus, I was homeschooling my son, and I weighed 235 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And I looked like, oh my God, I looked like a wall of person, just a small head, big body, like a Pugsley. I don't know. Anyway, I think I would have taken much better care of my health if I had thought about it. I put 100 pounds on when my mother died. I think it was my way of cushioning the blow. The only other thing I could think of is I would have certainly, if I had it, found a job that had 401k and started saving money a lot sooner, because I didn't start until 2011, and that's not really,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's not that good, that I didn't have all those years to do something like that. But there's really no regret. And people will say, don't you wish you didn't get married 4 times? Don't you wish that you didn't have to move here or do? No, I don't regret any of it. Not a bit of it. Yeah, was there heartbreak? Sure. Was there problems? Yes. There were times that were really bad, but it all put me on the right path to where I am right now. So that's kind of how I feel. So ditto to all of you girls, really. Um, you know, we can just sit and say, well, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, and what a waste of time that is, really. So that's what I say. So I do have some comments here from the chat on the community pages, and I'm going to put them up just so we can look at what other people had to say. This one is particularly interesting to me because, and I'm sorry you all won't be able. I'm going to put it up on the screen because those of you on other channels won't see it, right?
Yeah.
It's from Veronica, and it says, "Stop giving away my energy to help and care for everybody else. Love and care a bit more for my own being. At 60, I wish I knew this at 40 because I am exhausted."
Amen, sister.
Amen.
And I think that the self-care thing is really, but it's also okay to say no. And I think when you're younger, you don't think you can. That you're some kind of a jerk if you don't say no.
Exactly.
So yeah, it is exhausting, and it's not selfish. That's what I was told. I was told always if I said no, that I was being very selfish, and that's just not the truth. So that's one I had. I have two more. I have this one here from Jay Orm. Step away, remove yourself, and look at the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
Then realize what all you've missed and focus on doing better for yourself. So it's self-reflection, looking at, I would even put in there, journaling is a good thing to do at this age. I wish I started at 40 and not 60. So
Yes.
there's that. And ladies, you're welcome to say anything else you want to say about these extra comments.
I like what Joe said about Val getting frozen out.
I love that.
I saw that.
What did she say? What did she say?
She said I got kicked out. Terry's husband was so
pants.
Yeah, actually, I did see that. Yeah.
Yep. So Christine said she would stop being so hard on herself. So there you go. Another good one. Yep.
A good one.
Let's see. There's a few other ones that people have said here. Sonia Maggie says, I would listen to my intuition more. I love that one.
Mm-hmm.
J.O. says, I've lived my 30 years like I wasn't going to see the next 30. And boy, am I paying for all that fun now.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
I tell
amazing.
you what, I wish I would have been more patient with my mom as the dementia was starting to take hold. When a lot of times I was just very frustrated and irritable with her because I didn't realize at the time that what she was doing she had no control over.
Right.
There were, in the beginning, it's like, stop doing that. You're making me nuts. And I didn't realize until later that she had no control over that. And I think anytime,
that's part of being young, I think, too, Sherry.
Yeah, but I mean, I was in my 50s, so
but you didn't know.
No.
Right. I didn't.
And once you did know, you did better.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all you can do.
That's all you can do. Jill says from her young 20s, she figured every business needs people to do their accounting. Got into that early thinking, if I opened a business, could do my own accounting. It's finding that, don't you wish at times the thought you had for what you wanted to do for work? I was always told, oh, that will never work. And then I'd have other people do it and say it was their idea. That used to piss me off.
Man, that would piss me off.
Yeah. It's like, oh, no, that's too ambitious. You can't do that.
And then they go and do it.
They go do it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, this is an interesting one. I could say this about 3 other people that I married. Don't marry that guy. But then
Yeah.
you wouldn't be where you are with your current husband or
Yeah.
in your life the way it is.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have had my children, so I understand.
It
Exactly.
was our journey.
Yeah, I think each relationship prepares you for the next because you
Definitely.
learn and you elevate your awareness and how to communicate and get along better, and to,
Mhm.
yeah, you allow yourself those higher relationships that are less
That's right.
in conflict. Yeah.
I remember the saddest thing is walking down the aisle the first time. I was 21 years old.
Oh,
My father was walking me down the aisle, and I turned to him and I said, "Well, I guess if this doesn't work out, I could get divorced." That's no way to start a marriage.
oh my goodness. That
And
is
he
a
was
telltale sign.
well, he was an hour and a half late to the wedding as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right there.
So, yeah, right there I should have known. But I was only married to him 3 years. I was married to the second one 3 years.
Yeah.
And I was married 12 years to the third one. But
Which means you get smart fast.
you get smart really fast.
Yes.
Yeah. And with Keith, we've been together almost 24 years. And so, I'm getting there. He calls himself, what is it? Quattro? Numero quattro.
Yeah.
So, Linda, you're a bachelor lady, 73. Girlfriends all ended up running in circles, taking care of husbands, old now doing the same. Me, free and independent, and very happy with my solitary life. Well, Linda, you go, girl.
I
I'm
guess
very happy with with me.
Yeah.
I'm good company.
That's
Yeah,
and
that
that's
was
that's
the-
always good. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things that, after I divorced and came back here to Calgary, shortly thereafter, you'd start hearing comments from people, well, you're still a young woman. You're surely, you'll remarry again. No,
Mhm.
no, I
My mother
realized
never
that I am much happier on my own.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
And when
Yeah.
I'm on my own, I like the company I keep.
Mhm.
If I want companionship, there's lots available, but it doesn't
Mhm.
come with any strings. I don't have to, worry about making somebody's lunch or making sure that his suit is dry cleaned, or, are his socks in the drawer? What? No,
Oh, let him be his own mother.
exactly.
Yeah, my mother's marriage lasted 7 years and 4 kids. She used to say that divorce was her form of birth control. But anyway,
Hey,
she never
yeah.
remarried.
Yeah.
She never remarried. She became very independent, whereas she was a mouse before.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my mom after she and my brother's dad, my stepfather, got divorced. She never remarried again after that, and I know, and we were both kids. She divorced my stepdad when my brother was like under a year old. So, a lot of people didn't understand why she didn't go get another husband, take care of her. She's like, I can take care of my damn self. I don't need a husband to take care of me.
For me, it was never, I never thought I wouldn't be married because I
Yeah.
really like being married. But, I think that right now my husband and I really have once we get better, we have a good situation because we're on our own for some of the time and we're together some of the time. And,
Exactly.
we enjoy each other's company when we get together. But
Yeah.
it's very
Well, I think
interesting
that's
that,
what with younger people. I know with my husband, I met. We were both in our 20s,
uh-huh.
and you kind of grow older together.
Yeah.
As you change and attitudes change and the way you do things change.
Mhm.
It would be very difficult for me to get into that kind of a relationship with somebody now because I don't have the patience to change for you.
Well, you have
And
your
it's
own
like,
Well,
way of doing
I've,
things.
I've got my
that's
own
that's
life,
where
my own
being your
schedule.
authentic self.
Yeah. Exactly.
You shouldn't have to change.
First
I
of
am
all,
perfectly happy by myself.
you don't change for someone.
No.
And
No,
they
but
don't
you know what I
change
mean.
for
We
you.
all adjust ourselves
First
when
of all.
we have
Yeah.
when we have that kind of relationship. We all make adjustments.
Adjustments, I
sort
think,
of
is not
accommodate
changes.
the other
Yeah.
This is
person.
okay, but I'm
Um,
just saying, don't distort who you are
No.
For
for
anybody.
someone else. Show
Yeah.
up as your
Right.
authentic self and hope that they show up as their authentic self, because then you can start having a friendship and then a deeper relationship if you want.
Right.
But you
Exactly.
need to be who you are. Never contort yourself in
And
any
when
way,
I've,
shape, or form to
when I've had
meet
people
someone
ask me
else's
why I don't
approval
date
or
or get
need.
married,
Yeah.
it's like,
You need to stay
yeah,
authentic to be in your happy place.
yeah.
Right.
I
That's
know
right.
when I get asked, it's like, look, if Spirit wants me to get married again, he's going to bring that man right to my door, plop him in my face, and say, "Okay, I'm here. What you want
That's
me
what
to do?"
happened to me. That's what happened.
So
It did. I met him in a chat
I've
room.
known people it's happened for him like
Yeah.
that. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We both weren't looking for anybody. Yeah.
Yep.
But that's when they show up.
That's when they show up.
Exactly.
That's right.
yeah,
So anyway,
Exactly.
our cute couple of the riches, as we know, her
Yes.
30-year-old self, she said Wayne's a keeper, and
Yeah.
she's kept him. And her 40-year-old self, save more money and don't buy unnecessary stuff. Oh
Yeah.
my God. That
Yeah.
would have been a really good thing to know in my 40s.
I know.
Yes.
Well, also maybe even back up from 40, but do you have to have that big house? Could it be smaller? Like,
Yeah. Yep.
have more money to make memories with your kids.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's been a great conversation. Um, and um, and we've got 77 people here today, and so
Wow.
we've grown
Fantastic.
by
Hey,
33
thanks
people.
for coming and hanging out.
Anybody that's
Awesome.
come in and we haven't said hello to, we appreciate you being here, and
Yes.
it's always such a pleasure to be with you on Thursdays. So let me bring up the questions we have for the week, unless there's anything else that needs to be said. Ladies, are you?
No,
You know, the
good.
best advice I was ever given was when I was 16. And my great grandmother, who was in her 90s at the time, spoke very little English, but enough to kind of get her point across. And I was stressing out about some boyfriend, and she looks at me and she says, "Don't ever marry him, no. Live together. When you get enough, you kick his ass out."
Mhm.
I was
My
like,
grandmother said the same thing. She said, you don't have to buy the cow to enjoy the milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be sure before you buy that cow.
I want to bring this up because Jo says, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen present, are you not finding the older you get, the less you have to give, and your tolerance for willful ignorance and stupidity drops exponentially?
"Oh yeah,
Yes.
oh yeah."
You don't
It's
suffer fools gladly.
it's like we say, I'm too old for this shit.
Yes.
The truth is, we don't have to just be too old for it. We should never have had to put up with it, right?
No.
But
Exactly.
we realize,
I agree, Ellie.
Yeah.
I agree, exactly.
I think when we're younger, we're a little more concerned about getting along,
Yeah.
right?
and bite your tongue, and a lot of it has to do with sort of how we were raised initially,
Yeah.
which was,
True.
I know in my time it was, yeah, you're growing up. You can be a secretary for a while if you want until you get married, and then you're a wife and a mother, and that's your life, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I agree. My mother, I remember when I had my daughter, I was 25 years old and we didn't have any money. So I said, I got to go back to work. She's going to have to go to daycare. Well, my mother was so mad at me. You can't have a child and go then dump that child off. You need to stay home with that child. And I had a hard enough time with her anyway, my daughter. So there was that. But I'm like, no. So I was made to feel guilty that I was doing something very selfish by
Yeah.
not being home with her all the time. And that was that generation. That's what they
Yes.
threw in your brain,
But my mom went through that as well for being a single mother with 2 kids on
Mhm.
her own. And I would hear her get bombarded with questions from people about why she didn't find a man to take care of her and her kids. And she was like,
Mhm.
I'm perfectly capable of taking care of us or myself. And
Yeah.
and it was, and of course we're talking back in the 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
People just couldn't comprehend that. I mean,
No.
women couldn't even have a bank account on their own back then.
Oh God, no. My mother had a Sears card with Mrs. Donald Crooker on it.
Yeah.
It couldn't be Alice. Yeah.
It couldn't
And
be your own name, right?
yeah,
No.
she had to sign her name, Mrs. Darnold.
Yes.
That's what she
Can
did.
you imagine? That was back in the day when women couldn't even have a credit card.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
Or a
That's right.
checking
No, when
account.
my-
Your
when
checking
my
account
mother-
was in your husband's name. Yeah.
Right.
When my mother left in early 61, she had her Sears card that said, Mrs. James, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Mhm.
And she used that to build her credit.
Mhm.
So she also said, don't depend on a man to take care of you. Like,
Oh,
have
my mother said
skills
that
to
repeatedly.
take care of yourself.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yes,
Which I did.
a book says, what will they think of you? It was always about what everybody else thought of you. Oh my God. Well, you
Yeah.
can't wear that. What will everybody think
Yeah.
of you?
What will everybody think?
Yes.
If your friends jump off the bridge, does that mean you're going to follow them?
Right.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So the first question we have, and by the way, everybody, I'm sorry, there aren't questions taken during the shows. These questions are from community boards. We post and ask for questions for the week. So my apologies to anybody that's asking, but we don't do it that way. So we have 2 questions today, and Karen's first. Is anybody getting any messages of when I'll hear from my son, Zach, again? He's 27, and I'm also lost on why he stopped all communication. First of all, Karen, I'm sorry that
Yeah.
happened, and we'll see what we can ascertain here.
Okay. I can tell you, Karen, that he is he felt that if he shared a part of himself, of who he really was, that he would not be accepted. And so rather than deal with the rejection, he talked himself into walking away and just saying, well, that's a part of my life that I don't want to have. He has sort of rebuilt his identity on who he is today. But I think that he's trying to be authentic with himself without having to put you in a position where you need to make a choice. And yeah, I get the potential card. That's I'm thinking that the potential is there for him to reach out to you one day. It hasn't quite come yet. When he is settled with who he is, and when he feels that there is no longer judgment around him, then I think that he will reach out. But until then, just surround him with light and love, and let him be his authentic self. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Marina. Sherry?
Well, I started out with the 8 of Wands, which is, talking about, with this deck especially, wanting to go out and make his fortune. And so he's wanting to just jump out there and what can I do on my own?
Mm-hmm.
But then it followed up with the Death card, and that's telling me that he was seeking change. He just didn't know what kind of change he wanted. So he kind of like shut the door between him and everybody else, and let's see what's out there. I kind of understand that mentality. I did the same at the age of 40. I moved away 4 states from everybody I knew to figure out what did I want. And it ended up with the 4 swords. So there's some regret. I think he just doesn't quite know how to mend fences right now. So I would just give him a little space and just, if an opportunity hits, just let him know how much you love him and that you're still there for him, no matter what.
Okay.
You know,
Just
I think
remember, ladies, one card.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Thank you. All right, Sharon, what you got?
I forgot.
One card. I have one card.
Oh, me
Good.
too. Me too.
Okay. Ace of Pentacles.
Oh,
Look at the hand reaching from the other side. I feel that he is eventually there's going to be a new start to his communication. Pentacles can mean proof. I would look for signs that he's leaving you. I think that's how he's going to be communicating with you.
Yeah.
Start. So it will happen.
mm-hmm.
There will be a
That's
new start to the communication. That's what I thought.
all right, Val.
Okay, Karen, I feel like he is not feeling very good about himself right now.
Mm.
And he's, in essence, not wanting to connect till he's in a place where he feels like he is going to shine in your eyes, if that makes any sense whatsoever. If you focus on him in any way, send him light and love and that feeling of allowance of however he shows up, he is always welcome. Energetically, that will open the door to him actually receiving that feeling that the door is open. How I show up in front of my mom is going to give me love,
Yeah.
unconditional love. And that is what came through for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfectionist, and he feels like he has to show up and be he would be the shining one who's done everything.
Yeah.
And he's not feeling up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get maestro, and that would be a perfection in leading his own life, Karen. But I have to tell you that my kids, I never got on them about grades or anything, especially my son. He was a B student, never studied a stitch, but I never said a word. When he went to college, he got his bachelor's degree, but his sister and I had master's degrees. But it was like no big deal to us. And he said he felt like he was disappointing us because he didn't get his master's degree.
Oh.
And I said, where is that even coming from? I said, that isn't from us. It was from him.
It's
And
your
I said,
own ego working at your mind going,
is.
you're not
And
as good. You didn't do this.
That's
You did
right.
this.
So that came to my mind when I was thinking about your own son, that it's not you that did a thing. It's him that feels he's somehow not lived up to what he should have done or done, whatever it is. But he will age into this. He will get there. He will get there.
He will get there.
Absolutely
get there.
So
hold that space by holding that light and sending it to him, that open doorway. And yeah.
Okay, so this is a very interesting question from Leah. And love you, Karen. Leah says, hi, do Alzheimer's persons communicate in spirit? How can we help them and us? I think I think there's don't you think that at some level they understand everything that's going on? I mean, maybe
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think that they are much more connected to spirit than we realize, because they have almost let go of the ego. right? There isn't the ego to kind of get between them and spirit. So I think that they are much more connected, much more able um, to communicate with spirit and to kind of, you know, live partially here in the physical world, but
Mhm.
also go far, far, far beyond that. So I think that, yeah, absolutely they can. And um, I get blessings. This, we may see it as something that is undesirable, something that, you don't want to get Alzheimer's, you don't want to do. They see it as a blessing because this is something that they have taken on, and it is a way for them to learn and to ascend more fully so that they can become the masters and the teachers that we follow. But I think that they are very, very connected. And how do we help them with that? Understand when they are telling you things, communicating with you, and they are saying something that doesn't make sense to you. Don't look at them and think, oh God, you know, here goes dad crazy again. Listen to them. Let them say what they need to say, hear what they need to say, and um, yeah, give it some thought.
Mhm.
Give it some thought. That's what
Well,
I
Sherry's had experience living with or
Yeah, I was.
Alzheimer's. Go
There
ahead.
were a couple of times, especially towards the end, when things happened that led me to believe that despite all the disconnect with dementia and or Alzheimer's, it's part of the same disease, that they know what's going on down in there somewhere.
Yeah.
They're aware of what's happening.
Yep.
And they don't like it any more than we do because they can't break free to express themselves, but they know. And they may not recognize your face or remember your name, but they know who loves them because when you come into the room, they light up, even though they're like, "Who are you?" They don't light up like that for everybody.
Yeah.
And I pulled one card, just one this time, and it's the council. And I think that part of that disconnect is like so many of us have come to realize they're connecting on another realm, in another dimension almost. And they're seeing their loved ones that have gone on before them. I would watch my mother have an entire conversation with her sister who
Yeah.
died 30 years ago, you know. And I knew just from things that were being just from her side of the conversation that she was really talking to my aunt. That it wasn't like her trying to have a conversation with me where she couldn't string two sentences together. This was full on sentences when she would be talking to her sister, you know, who wasn't here anymore. So, yeah, they
Okay.
know.
Thanks, Sherry. Thank you. Sharon?
I agree with Sherry. It's funny, I was told to go to another deck, and here is the Wheel of Fortune. I see this as, them connecting with the other side, and also these are different dimensions,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you use your intuition or if you get messages, because the question was, can they communicate to spirit for spirit to communicate to us how we can help them and ourselves? And I think if just listen, just be quiet and listen, whatever messages hit you, I think
Mm-hmm.
that's probably how they communicate with you.
Sure.
It could even be a song on the radio that a phrase hits you.
Yeah.
You know, it could be anything.
It's the intuition that's really
Absolutely.
the thing you want to listen. You want to think of.
Listen to your intuition, and I'm sure because they are communicating with the other side.
Uh-huh. All right, Val.
Okay, so what I pulled is healing. And you can see the divine connection
Absolutely.
that is going up to and down, connecting to that person with Alzheimer's. So although they are still connected to their body, they have that ability to actually be out of the body and also connect. So at the same time, it's really healing for the person who is the caretaker to hold that space for them too. Meaning that when they come up with these stories and things and they think they're 7 years ago and blah, blah, allow them that and let go, yes, well, that's just wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
That creates within them a peace and harmony, that everything is still well, that all is peaceful and calm. Because when you try to tell them something is wrong because they aren't thinking right, you create anxiety, stress, and a level of fear. So the best thing to do is just hold the space and let them show up how they do, and just surround them with light, because that's what they're in right now. So that's what came in.
And I got the protection card. And as it's like what they've been saying, what Val and what everybody's been saying, they're protected by the angels, they're protected by their guides, they're protected by the others on the other side. So I definitely believe that, that there's some part of them that it would be like there's a thing called when you go into surgery and they give you anesthesia, but you really don't fall asleep. You can hear everything, and actually, it's like a scary for people like that, because they can hear everything, but they can't communicate it to you. I'm feeling it's something like that. That I know what's going on, but that part of my brain isn't working enough, and I can't get it from here to here. Yeah. So anyway, thank you so much, ladies. That's and Anja says her mother's Alzheimer's taught her about surrender, and yes, that's wonderful. Yes, that's my husband coughing out. He's still not feeling well. Thank you, book. Yeah. So it's been 3 weeks, so a little bit too long here. So a book, and wanted me to share this with everybody. Beck had said, I want to thank each of you for the ground you have broken or are breaking. And thank you, Beck. That's very sweet of you. Yeah. We love doing these shows, and we love that we have 5 women who can come up with a topic that might be meaningful to all of you. And it's nice not to have the pressure of having to be that person every week. So we have a really good, we have a good group of people, and we have all of you. What could be better than that? So thank you. Yep. Thank you so much. So anything else that needs to be said? We're about 5 minutes to the hour, but I think we've covered what we need to cover. Unless any of you ladies have anything else you'd like to add.
No, the only thing I was kind of half trying to get the message across. So this is for book. Yes, you can join at 7 any way you want. You don't have to be on camera. You don't have to. That's totally up to you. Okay. And and I think, Marby, I saw your notice about checking my email, so I am going to go and check my email. So I want you to know I saw it, and I will be doing that.
Yeah.
And that's it. If it wasn't for this community, my gosh, you know what? Don't forget, everybody, to share, and subscribe on each channel, because there are people
really
up there
helps.
who
Yeah.
They are dying to hear our message. They just don't know where we are. So help them find us. And you do that when you do the like, share, and subscribe on each of the channels. And it just gets this video along with others in front of a wider audience.
Because nothing is more affirming for us than to start a show, whether if it's with someone else or when we're solo, and you see a couple of new names in the chat.
Yep.
You know, and it's like, oh, you're new. Where did you come from? You know, and thank you for coming. Because
Yes.
somebody,
And the way that the community
for
welcomes
whatever reason,
others.
yeah.
Yes.
And that's the next thing, the way everybody reaches out, you know. Or when one of us discovers a new reader or a new psychic, clairvoyant, medium, channel, or whatever, and we invite them on our show so that everyone else, you know, and then to watch all the others reach out and get that person on their show as well, so that everyone gets to know who this person is. And it's one more voice that can reach people who are looking for all of us in some way, shape, or form.
Wonderful.
There you go.
So thank you, everybody in the chat. We'll see you next time when I'm trying to think. Val, I think it's your turn. It'll be your turn. Yeah.
I believe
Val's
so.
turn?
Oh,
yeah.
I've got Sherry down next week.
Really? It's always been me after Allie. That's why when we talked about it before, I was like,
I knew. But remember, you and Sharon switched, and that just everything up. So just, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll let you know.
I value your calendar knowledge, and I will stay in my space.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, sisters. Have a good night, everybody. Love you.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.